requested to
hurrah! I can't not go hurrah.
So, hello everybody. So what we've got going on today is we are here jointly with Yellow Tuxedo, who have just appeared live with us on Instagram up here. Hello Instagram. And we are also live on Facebook and LinkedIn down here. Hello Facebook and LinkedIn.
This is what it is.
So we are everywhere. Chris is just sorting out the volume so that we're not echoing from one to the other.
We have the same first world challenge right here now. I think I've sorted it.
Yeah, I think it's on a very tiny amount, but if we speak really loudly, we won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
So yeah, if Instagram, it looks like we're not looking at you sometimes, that's because we're giving a bit of eye contact to Facebook and LinkedIn down here, but we will keep trying to go between the two. So today, a lot of you will know either me and Chris, or you'll know Emily and Alan. Some of you may know all of us. So Chris and I are from Ready Steady Websites, which is an off-the-shelf website and membership site template service. And I'll let Emily and Alan do their little quick intro.
Good morning, everyone.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan. This is Emily, Yellow Tuxedo, and we are digital visibility specialists. So we show people how to basically grow their business online in a I've gone blank.
Holistic
way that encapsulates many different facets and gets it really working for you whilst you sleep.
Nice eye contact with Instagram.
I know. I was trying.
Yeah.
Doing the eye contact everywhere. And so we just thought we would come together, all four of us, because between us, our combined skills really give a real holistic approach to creating a fantastic online presence, generating leads, converting sales, and just getting your business where it needs to be online.
And let's face it, it's been a long time coming, guys, hasn't it? We've been fabuling for a little while on our various other platforms where this needed to happen, so we have made it happen.
And what was so weird is the day that I sent Emily a message to say we need to do a collaboration, Emily sent me a photo of her notebook that said contact Jude for a collaboration. So it was just like, we have lots of problems with sound on Instagram.
Yeah, I could see myself and Chris's eyes darting left and right. I think it's a first world issue that Instagram's hearing us twice. So it's hearing you come out of the computer and go into Instagram, and plus us going into Instagram.
Why don't we headphones on the computer? If we headphones on the computer, we may sort the sound out for you. Yeah.
Hold fire, everyone. Hold fire.
That would be right. We'll be able to hear Emily and Alan on the computer through headphones.
And then Instagram will only get us once.
Yes, Instagram will only get us once. Oh no, we don't have the right headphones to hand.
Well, I think we do. So if we can, you
still only be able.
I feel like I'm 15 on a school trip sharing headphones right now.
Obviously,
they're all tangled. So any wires get so tangled.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Ben Drury.
We've got a couple of hellos here. Let me just make sure our sound is right. Proper technical issues going on here. Microphone external headphone. Instagram, are we echoey? A Yellow Tuxedo, anyone who's watching, please.
Oh, I've just done it. Swap.
Oh, no one's there. And Laurie, I'm waiting for a client to join a Zoom, so we'll have to catch up probably. But hello anyway.
Lovely to see you, Laurie.
Laurie and you, Ben.
Oh, we're not working yet. Let's just switch over to headphones, and then we will get a better deal, hopefully, with the sound on Instagram. I'm so many of you are hanging on for us to do this. Next week, this will be so smooth because we'll have it all sorted. Right. Okay. Is the sound now better than on Instagram? Because we are now on headphones, so you shouldn't be hearing any computer sound. You should just literally be hearing me talking to you sound. So let me know. So it says we're fine. Yellow Tuxedo is still echoing.
Okay, I haven't said anything. Right, okay. Are we still echoing? I don't know why we would still be echoing, but are we still echoing? And we're okay on LinkedIn, according to Ben. So
awesome. Okay on LinkedIn. That means we must be okay on Facebook because we're going. Everything's okay. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. We had a conversation around headphones to begin with, and now we should have just put our headphones in.
Yes.
So. Like I thought we were a coach on the French exchange in 1993, though. Currently sharing. Would you like to listen to my mixtape? You know. So.
Yeah, but with no of the radio at the start and end of this, like I used to have on all my mixtapes because I'd recorded it from the charts. Right, cool. Okay, Emily, we can't see you on Instagram. You've decided just to like, there you are. Okay, so let's get on with what we're actually supposed to be talking about, because we are only going to be with you for about half an hour today. In this half hour, you are going to get so much input around how to make the most of your online presence and increase your leads. And if you have any questions as well, please do ask questions. We would much rather be answering your questions and knowing that what we are saying is really important and useful to you. But we do have some things we want to cover as well. And Alan's already left. Emily and Alan do have a child at home, so that is why they might have to leave, but we will carry on. So Emily, was there something that, like, one of your bullet points that you wanted to cover, you want to kick us off with today?
Yeah, absolutely. So why we thought it would be a really good topic to start this little mini series off with is because obviously you guys at Ready Steady Websites are all about making sure that the website is working. We're very much making sure everything's working to get them to the website in the first place. And we look time and time again about what online presence really is. It gets quite confusing because everyone goes, yeah, I'm doing so much on social media. I'm doing so much on Facebook and I'm not really being seen, or I'm being on Instagram, I'm not being seen. And I look at our online presence model, and actually social media is just one teeny tiny part of the massive pie that is online presence. Because what we look at in Yellow Tuxedo is the fact you're looking at your brand. Is your brand consistent? Your website, is your website working for you? Sorry, let's get Alan back in the room here.
On the most slickest live stream ever.
Your website, is it working for you in terms of when they get to your website, do they understand where they are, what they're doing, what you want them to do? Are you converting on your website? Is Google actually seeing your website in practice? Blogging, we love a bit of blogging here at Yellow Tuxedo. We talk about it lots. One of our points in the next few weeks is all about blogging, why it's still really relevant in 2021. Social presence comes into that model, and so does your PR and your legacy. Getting yourself talking and out there with every single touch point working for you as part of your online presence. So I think first and foremost, understanding that it's not just about social media and not just about your website. Really thinking of that big picture, is every single touch point working for you?
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, and like we're always like, as much as we focus very much on the website side of things, obviously we are always encouraging people to kind of think about everything as a whole. Like if they're putting a blog post out there, how many social media posts can that be? They need to be putting it out on social media to be sending that traffic to their own website. Then obviously once they're getting more and more regular traffic to their website, natural SEO will come in there as well. And yeah, I mean the branding, Chris, as well as doing the websites, does do branding. He's a branding expert as well, and that consistent branding across social media and your website, so that wherever someone finds you, wherever someone has that touch point with you, they know that it's you, they know they're in the right place, they're seeing that same person again, is so key.
I think that's so important, Jude, isn't it? I mean, because we've all either found or been guilty of, like, you're kind of exploring a brand you're excited by, and then you find them on Twitter with an account that's like not been touched in 5 years, and you go, oh, I always think it's one of those things. It's sort of quite a subconscious thought process where it may not necessarily massively affect a buying choice, but it will sit there as this little thing of, oh, their Twitter was a bit rubbish, or whatever it may be, you know, that omnichannel presence.
We should delete Twitter.
Yeah, we should delete our Twitter.
Because our Twitter is a really angry platform.
No, there's a lot of good stuff on Twitter.
It's I don't know. I think Twitter has always been good for us to kind of be in the web techie world. So like Chris had made loads of friends on Twitter kind of in the earlier days, other web designers, Twitter friends who became real friends because then he actually met them in person. But actually for us finding clients, and this is another key thing about your own online presence, is if you identify that you're somewhere where actually the people that you want to work with, they're not hanging out there, you're not going to then put as much effort into that platform. And so for us, Twitter just wasn't the right platform. We just weren't getting that engagement. We weren't getting the right people talking to us. Whereas on Instagram and on Facebook, we do. And so that's why we spend most of our time there. And we've kept Twitter because I kind of think, well, there'll be that odd occasion where someone might write a guest post for us and Twitter is their platform. And so they'll want to share the post and mention us. But yeah, we don't do, I was going to say, a huge amount.
We with our digital visibility head on, we would say one should be on Twitter, but how you decide to be on Twitter is then the question. So for instance, we're on Twitter. We're not particularly proactive. I probably kind of go on there and have a bit of a chat sort of every other day for 10, 20 minutes. But what we do have, we use a platform called IFTTT to auto feed our Instagram posts as native photos. So if you use Instagram to auto feed to Twitter, it just posts a link to Instagram. Whereas if you use an automated platform like IFTT, then it brings the image. And going back to that omni-channel presence, if a potential client, we may not feel our potential clients live on Twitter, but our potential clients may be on Twitter because fundamentally they're on whatever platforms they choose. You can't truly pigeonhole them into separate platforms. So we want our presence there for them to discover when it's ready for them, in a simple and easy manner as possible.
Yeah, that's such a good tip. And I might actually start doing that because I do post on Instagram regularly. So to just then it's going to Twitter. And so like you said, when someone finds our Twitter, they don't go, oh, they've not bothered with that.
For the sake of having your links page, a nice bio, a nice image, spending 20 minutes, half an hour making it look pretty, and then setting up an auto feed from IFTTT, if this, then that, then
you always miss the T.
I always miss a T or put too many T's in. So
IFTTT. Yeah.
If this, then that. So yeah.
Just going to say hi, Garafina. I just saw the hello to us pop up. She's been on our challenges before.
Hi, Garafina.
Yeah, you should say hello to Emily and Alan as well. Just like. So obviously, like getting ourselves out there on the different social media platforms, engaging with people is so important, and it's so key. But then ultimately, our goal always feels like it should be to drive people to the website. That's like where our content is. That's where we want people to go. Like, we do like to see our social media growing, but it's not one of our goals. Our goal is always to grow our email list. That is our big one for us personally. That's what we recommend. There you go. You've got a hello to Emily and Alan there. That's what we recommend to anyone that either we're working with, our clients, our Ready Steady Websites members, or anyone on any of our challenges or courses. We're always saying they should be growing their email list, but using your wider online presence to do that is so important.
And that's
go on.
So that's exactly right, because you're and we all know it, and we all sort of really know it. We never really action it. Your website, your email list is your property, right? And we know that's the place where you can convert, and we all recognise it. But Facebook could possibly close tomorrow. It could. I don't think he's going to close it, good old Mark, but he could do, and therefore
he's out on his surfboard for Independence Day.
Independence Day post, yeah. He could be. So therefore, we really need to have claim of what is ours and really utilise it to our benefit as well.
I mean, what's more likely, and Chris is better at talking about this than me, is that actually more and more sides of social media will be monetized, and therefore we won't be able to do as much free, which is why it is important to then be using your website.
Well, look at Facebook for that, right? Because the amount of times they've changed the goalposts for small businesses, because it was never built to be a small business platform. It's a social media platform at the end of the day, but they recognize it. They go, oh, actually they're doing for that, let's put a new pound sign, a boosted post or a Facebook ad now.
How many times do you see I'm not getting much engagement in this group, can you all like this post or equivalent? Because they just want you to give you they just want to take your money.
Pay to play.
Yeah. Ooh, pay to play. I've not heard that in a while. Well done, Emily.
I associate that with crazy golf normally, that term, but it does work for Facebook too. Absolutely. So I mean, as well as using social media and focusing on your websites as well, one of the things that we do a lot, and obviously we're doing it now, working together, but also we're doing a guest masterclass for you guys later on this month in your membership, and we do loads of guest opportunities. Some months I feel like I've done too many when people start to say to me, oh, you're everywhere, and I go, I'm sorry, because they just see me all the time. But guest opportunities online is such a fantastic way to broaden your online presence as well. So whether it is still on social media, going into other people's groups and things, whether it's doing podcasts, I can hear a call for daddy. Whether it's doing podcasts, interviews, whether it is actually Chris has spoken at a couple of online events that would have been in-person events over the last year or so. But making the most of those opportunities is so important as well, being found on different areas online that, again, you can talk about on social media, that you can link to, that you can put as a blog post about doing them on your website and linking to them. That's another thing that we find really, really valuable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and it's easier to get these things than you think. And I know a lot of people are quite introverted and these things are kind of scary, but all you need to do is ask, and it's quite easy. Yeah. People are always looking for content. They're always looking for sort of a cross-pollination of information. So it's always the gigs are out there. You just need to ask, really.
And I think you said about confidence and being introverted, and sometimes you can be introverted, but we still have to get out and do it. Because if you're, and Alan always uses a shop analogy, if you had a shop and a customer came into your front door, you wouldn't ignore them in your shop. You would go and speak to them. So we get so worried about doing that online because we're potentially introverted. But if you're not confident being face to camera, something like this with an interview style, it's a lot less daunting because it's just a conversation, but you're putting it out there in a way that's optimized and people can see. It's genius, absolutely genius. And yes, we do collaborations on social media. And I think with our business in the other business in the wedding world, we do like style shoots and stuff. And I guarantee we'll share it on social media. We get a bit of blog coverage and we'll share it and tag everyone on Facebook and Instagram. But we don't always take it to our websites and talk about it and actually backlink to people, which is going to help branch out in terms of our backlinking strategy there, and actually do us some good on Google in that way as well. So we have these opportunities, but we really do need to kind of seek them out, as Chris says, go and ask and have conversation with people and really kind of make them work for us as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's quite a lot of the time, like we miss opportunities to use content. So like you said, you do the shoots and you put it on social media, but perhaps you don't think to write a blog post about it. And like Chris and I did a Facebook Live, and it may even have just been last week's, but it feels like so long ago. I think it was we did a Facebook Live last week about how much content you can get out of one guest opportunity. Yeah. And I can't remember what we got to. We got to 20 something pieces of content that you can get out of just one podcast interview or just one Facebook Live in someone else's group or on someone else's page. And it is important to do that, to think about all the places you can do it. And quite often we do miss the opportunity to put it on a website. So not only do we miss the opportunity to perhaps write a blog post about it, so it's a piece of content on a website, but you can be asking the person who did the guest opportunity to do a testimonial for you that can be going onto your website. And so, there are so many things that you can do. And that's when it starts to generate the leads. So not only are you getting yourself out there to a new audience and talking about what you do, but if you're then talking about the fact that, somebody wanted you to come along and talk about your area of expertise, that's showing that people really value you as an expert. Yeah. Then to get a testimonial from that person to put on your website to say, how much everyone loved the guest slot they did and the amount of value they got out of it, that then when someone's looking at your website and considering you as the person to provide the service or sell them the product or whatever it is you do, that's the thing that's going to get the lead, seeing that proof that you are awesome at what you do, and people will start to actually click, and if they're not quite ready to buy, maybe sign up to your email list or get your free download or whatever it is that you've got out there. But those little things are so key and so important. It doesn't just have to be testimonials from your clients and your customers. There are other people out there that can say good things about you from a slightly different perspective, and having that range of testimonials is really, really good idea.
It's just increasing your network, isn't it, as well, because we can only do so much on our own social media platforms. Again, we go straight to it because that's what's tangible for us. That's what we do. We go to our Facebook and our Instagram and our LinkedIn because that's what we do. But by having these collaborations and widening that pool and going and finding and seeking those opportunities, you are just bringing a whole new bunch of people to your space that you would never have known beforehand had you not dipped your toe in to have a conversation, to be a guest poster, to do a live collaboration like we're doing now. Thanks, Garifina, by the way, saying hi to us. We'd never have known Garifina if we hadn't done this right now. So it's just having that thought process. And by doing that, it's going to, like I say, improve your leads because you are putting yourself out there in new spaces where they don't necessarily know what you do yet. But also the fact that we do less of the micro posts. Here's a picture of my pen on social media. Well, no one cares about your pen. Do you know what I mean? But we feel like we need to be tackling social media and putting stuff out to be consistent and engaging. But really, it's the connections we're making in this wider situation by having collaborations and talking and networking. That's where the gold is, and that's where we can almost step our foot off the gas. Adam's back. Step our foot off the gas to focus on that bigger picture, and focusing on that macro makes everything else so much easier as well because they're interested. You're piquing an interest with what you've got to say.
Absolutely. I'm just going to say, because I see people are watching live, if you've got any questions, do ask us questions.
We do.
You've got some, have you? Let's do a bit some questions, and then we can go to some more.
The amazing and fabulous Zoe Fisher says, as a limited social media poster, the odd Facebook only, I find it overwhelming. I have to be on all platforms. Any tips for starting out?
Ooh, should I take that one to start?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. The whole I need to be on every single platform, or I should only be on 2 platforms, is a big discussion point within Yellow Tuxedo. And we very much believe in omni-channel presence as a business. And that doesn't mean you have to be every single platform and being completely overwhelmed. It's about being on as many platforms as you can comfortably be in a way that's systematic and putting yourself out there in an optimized way. So, for example, with Yellow Tuxedo, we are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, standard. We have a YouTube channel. We are dipping our toe into TikTok. Alan likes a bit of TikTok.
I love a bit. Posted today.
Pinterest. But we always lead with our macro content on our website, on our video content, with our podcast. We lead in with that. So when it comes to being on multiple channels, we're not going, oh my goodness, I need to feed this, and this. We already start with our content strategy. Sorry, Alan. We start with our content strategy, and then we move into how we disseminate that content. So we're not going, what's my Facebook strategy? Where do I post? How many posts a week is a good amount of posts? Is it 5? Is it 8? What's Mark said this week? I don't know. We don't ever lead with that because that becomes overwhelming. We start with that content, what we know we can talk about in a really good, healthy amount of ways, and where we can put that content in a way that is going to be seen as many times as possible in a really cohesive way as well. Jude, you said about being there the other day about, I've been everywhere. That's good. That is really good.
We've not tested this scientifically, but we've certainly put this into practice. We've posted all day, every day for a period of time, building up to our one-day event, the Digital Circus Live back in May and things like that. And there were still people who weren't seeing the content. So the problem's not how often you post. The problem's talking about engaging quality content, and you shouldn't be overwhelmed by that, because as Emily's talking about right now, is if you're creating a macro content and how-tos and other sorts of videos and podcasts and everything like this, then talk about it till the cows come home. Document, don't create, and all of these other buzz phrases, because they're so prevalent always.
And don't forget, it's those 7 touch points. It's the sales 101, 7 touch points before someone wants to buy from you. They're going to be everywhere. So if they have seen your post before on a different platform, if they've seen it on LinkedIn, or they've come over to Instagram, they're not going to go, oh, Jude, I've seen her everywhere. Oh my goodness, how annoying. They're going to go, oh, I've seen that today. Fantastic. And carry on with their day.
And as a business, if you post once and expect to convert, well, either you've just kind of solved world peace in one post, or you're quite mistaken, unfortunately. So
yeah, I mean, the way we do it is, and hi Zoe. Zoe's another one. Actually, she's one of our members now, isn't she, Zoe? I was going to say she's another one on our challenge, and she was, but now she's a member. But the way we go about it is the same. We have our content. We'll have a weekly blog post. We'll have our weekly live where we talk like this, but not normally with all of us. And then we start sharing that. So, and it's the same everywhere. So in our weekly email, we'll talk about, on our weekly email, it's what we're going to talk about in the live, because we send it out on a Monday morning. And then what our blog post is. And then on Facebook and on Instagram, we'll talk about our blog posts throughout the week. And if we've done a podcast interview, it goes on both of them a couple of times. It'll be on Instagram stories, and it'll also be an Instagram post. And so it's the content that you've got that sort of is where you start, and then that provides the social media content. And we obviously, both sets of us, really advocate having a blog. And I just think if you write a weekly blog post, that's a fantastic starting point, because then that is an easy thing to go away and talk about on social media. It gives you some content for a weekly email list, sort of marketing email, nurturing email. It is that great place to start. And if you also have a YouTube channel like you guys, which we keep talking about, and we never
come and chat.
Chris has all these ideas, and then it doesn't happen because we're doing everything else. It's starting with the content, and you'll be fine, Zoe. Get yourself some really good content to start with, and then you've easily got something to talk about on social media.
So what we would say, Jude, is you're creating the content anyway, so why not just put that on YouTube to start with?
Well, yeah, we could just be putting our lives on YouTube. We really could.
In a proper repurposed manner, not just copy and paste. You've still got to optimize it and make it enjoyable and inviting.
So many people worry about what they're told by the gurus out there that they've never met before, and they're complete random strangers. But they say you shouldn't repurpose Facebook content, fresh content on YouTube. Well, that to an extent, is true.
Yeah, to an extent.
But ultimately, what's better for your business is being consistent and showing up on a regular basis. So if what's consistent to you is doing a Facebook Live like we're doing now and downloading that, if it's good content and worthwhile content, put it on YouTube. YouTube is forgiving. If you need to top and tail it with a bit of an intro to get it into context a bit more, record an intro and an outro, that's absolutely fine. But the content we're creating now is still the same tone of voice that you would take to LinkedIn. It's the same tone of voice that you would take to Instagram. And again, on your website, you're not changing your tone of voice because your audience is different. You're still going to work in exactly the same way. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. So therefore, get your content that you're already creating working for you better, and relax a little bit about that micro posting that we're also, oh my God, Instagram's telling me I need to do this many reels. Yeah. But we're all human and we have businesses to run. So you can only do what's consistent to you, but do it in a way that you're really going to show up and be consistent to do on the long term. Absolutely, do one blog a week's fantastic. But if you can only do it once a fortnight, it's
consistency is the answer.
Absolutely. Yeah. We say that even if you could do a blog a month, as long as you've got something going out once a month on your website, that's like the key thing. There's a question that Chris can answer here. He's sitting there very quietly.
I was going to say, before we answer that question, one of the things about consistency that's interesting, and sometimes you feel like you're kind of beating your head against a wall sometimes and no one's listening. But then you'll find out that someone's been following you for 2 years, or your email blast is the only one that they read every week. Yeah. And, these things are important to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, because, consistency really is the key. So if you feel like no one's listening at the moment, it doesn't matter. They might all be listening in the year's time.
90% is the figure. So 90% of the people who see your content don't engage with it. 90% is the kind of guesstimated figure. So yeah, that means
we haven't lost them. You're back. Good. You froze for a second. I thought
no,
we were there.
Yeah,
so 90% is the figure.
Yeah, and we've had that weirdly a lot in the last couple of months, haven't we? Like Chris has had a couple of calls with people who've booked in demo calls and said, I've been following you for 2 years and now I'm at the place where I think I need a new website. And I've done a couple of networking calls recently. I've ended up in little breakout rooms with people who have gone, I really loved your live last week when we were talking about this. And I was like, I didn't realize you were watching. And they're like, I often watch your lives, but had no idea. They never say hello. And so hello to all those people watching who never say hi, because it's nice that you're still there.
We don't judge you. It's okay.
No, we're pretty big on this. One of the things we lead with in our membership of the Digital Circus is #BeSocial, basically on the principle that we all do it. We all swipe. We all do it. Why don't you stop? At minimum, you should be doing is a like, and actually a comment should be next. And even if the comment is, yes, that everyone says put a quality, engaging, thoughtful, profound comment, but you know what? Love that is okay sometimes,
Yeah. Especially when often you're scrolling first thing in the morning, just while you're having your first cup of tea. There's not much going on up here. Love that. It might be all you can cope with, and that's all good. So that's basically what my comments are at that time of the morning. So I'm very aware of the time. We said we'd do about half an hour. So if anyone else is watching and thinking they might ask a question, do ask now so we can answer them before we go. But the Painted Dragonfly, who I know is Helen, has said, can I create an email list in MailerLite, in brackets, without having my website launched?
Yes.
I knew he'd go very in-depth into the answer of that, Helen.
MailerLite are really good in the fact that they do a lot for free. So you get a load of free stuff, even with up to 1,000 subscribers, you can get for free. They've got their own landing pages built in, Helen. So you can actually set up a MailerLite hosted landing page and send that out on social media, and people can sign up that way.
Alan, are you MailerLite sort of certificated?
I am on their website in their expert zone, Jude and Chris. Pleasure to be there. Not in a top trump way, Chris. Far from it. But we had a MailerLite client today who we had the same thing. They wanted an opt-in created because they were going to deliver a keynote, and you can create a form in MailerLite, like your land. Emily tells me, you can create a form in MailerLite and just take the URL for that form, and you can add the PDF via a link in the success note. So you absolutely can have a link to share out, collect details, a success message, and if you wish, you know, an opt-in, a gated document, whatever you want in that. And you do not need a website at all. And that's so landing page or just the form is the quickest and easiest way.
So yeah, Helen, you can get yourself set up and sorted with a landing page now while you work on your Ready Steady website's website. So that's another one of our members who's here watching us. We've managed to get them all on today. Obviously, by sending out our email this morning mentioning we were going live with you has been a draw. It's brought them all in.
Well, it's issue. Our email goes on a Thursday, so unless we can move this to Friday or Thursday.
Well, you can do make sure. Yeah, Thursday's all right to say next Monday. Make sure you watch. Yeah, it'll all be good. So do we want to I can't see any other questions coming in on LinkedIn. Let me just do a little. No, we're all good. We're all caught up there. I mean, is there one last important message or tip or something you would like to finish on from you guys? And we'll do one as well before we go.
Yeah, I mean, ours always comes down to one thing. I mean, you guys are amazing with the websites and we love a bit of content creation, but the most important thing you can ever do with any of that is to make sure it's optimized, because ultimately putting out all that effort, you're writing Shakespearean prose, you're making this best blog post ever created or YouTube video, whatever. But the most annoying thing is when nobody sees it and it's not being seen because you're not optimizing your content. Optimizing being allowing people like Google and YouTube and Pinterest to actually see that content and know where to put you in that massive content library that is the internet. We want them to see your content and put it in front of the right people. So that, therefore, if you're not looking at your keywords and filling out your meta descriptions and tags and all the stuff that you should be doing, then you're missing a trick. Get your content actually working for you, because that's the stuff that will bring that traffic to you whilst you're sleeping. Social media is great, but you have to feed that beast constantly. Optimization and content creation in that way allows you to go on holiday maybe occasionally, or go and have a break from work and let your content do its thing. So spend that time creating the content, but also get it optimized in a way that's going to work for you as well.
Absolutely. And I think one of our key things that we would say is, once you've actually got people to your website, when they hit that homepage, it needs to be so absolutely clear what it is that you can do and how you are going to help people. Because I know I hate it when I go to a website and it's all a bit wishy-washy at the top of the homepage, and I'm sort of scrolling through and they're telling me this lovely story about why they got into business. And I'm like, but I'm not really even completely clear what your business is. So on that homepage, before anyone scrolls, you need to have a real clear statement about what it is you do and how you can help people, and some call to action buttons, give people an opportunity to buy huge, massive
ones.
People do get caught up in the kind of excitement of creating this beautiful website and forget that it needs to work for them sometimes. It's a business tool, it's a car, it's to get them somewhere. It can still look nice, but it's
want to grab those leads. You want to get people clicking and actually convert some leads. So having some very clear call to action buttons under a very clear statement about what it is you do is going to be the thing that does that. And even when you're sending people to your website, there need to be call to actions on your social media posts. You need to be saying to people, if you need help with this, this, and this is my freebie. Go and have a look at it. Or this is the blog post I wrote this week. It'll be really useful to you. Click and have a read now. And get people to actually take action.
Yeah. So what have we got coming up in the next few weeks, Jude?
So we have got more of the same of us probably faffing around with headphones and going and sorting out children.
That's the other top tip is bring your headphones if you're dual streaming.
But yes, the other things that we have got coming up. So next week we are going to be talking about how to make people take action once they come to your website. So I've talked about those call to action buttons above the fold, but we'll go into more detail around the flow of the website and getting people to actually take action. Then a week after that, we are going to be talking about blogs and whether they still work and optimizing them. And obviously Emily is very excited about that one. There's going to be a lot of Emily talking that week. And then the week after that, which will be the final week, is planning your content across your social media and your website, having that real joined up sort of pro content plan and way of putting stuff out there. I can actually see we've got some comments coming through again. Sophie said, no one's actually interested in you. How rude, Sophie.
Oh, no, get it in context.
I have to say, I read the opening bit first and thought, oh no, we're being trolled.
But Sophie's absolutely right.
Well,
then.
yes, I felt it was a yes and no answer.
We get very caught up in our story, which is important because we want to get to know you and your business. They absolutely do. But they want to be able to take action. So yes, less the fluffiness, just kind of get to the point about what you can do to help them and go and get them to do something on your pages.
Yeah, I mean, people want to get to know you a bit. They care about you a bit because they want to buy from someone that they like. But yeah, it is always about what can they get from you. Yeah, but I think Sophie's putting in the context of the website, your about page shouldn't be your homepage. Your homepage is all about what they can get, what benefits they're going to get from working from you. And then on your about page is when you can tell the lovely story about how you got into business and why you got into business. But Sophie's one of our members as well, so I wasn't really offended when I read that. And yes, and thank you for saying happy birthday, Sophie.
The problem is with some of this stuff sometimes is it kind of goes in waves as trends. So obviously you get design trends, but also you get kind of content trends as well, which I'm sure you guys have seen as well, where like a lot of online coaches for a long time, well, for a short, I don't know, a year's,
for too long,
couple of years time, are like literally like, oh, look at me, I'm amazing. Oh, look at me. And they didn't actually talk about anything that they actually delivered. Whereas, you know, people are sort of semi-interested in you, and some people have followed us around various products and services that we've done in the past, but on the whole they just want to know what you can provide. So Sophie's right from that regard.
And they only follow us around because they are into using WordPress and they have liked each of the courses or products we've created. It's not really.
But if they didn't like you, they wouldn't follow you around.
That is very true.
And
if you were like,
they only need to get to know you enough, don't they? They don't need to. They need to see us. They need to see we're passionate about what we do. They need to see that we can have a laugh. We don't take ourselves too seriously. That gets them to like us. They don't need to know our sob stories or anything like that.
Not the X Factor, is it?
No.
We
don't need
about sharing your
background.
adventure rather than, you know, we're not into sob story sharing either, but we're all about sharing your adventure and people engaging with your adventure as you move along. But if they're on your website, they should know in a nanosecond what they're getting from it.
And they should get that from your social media anyway, and not your website. That they should get when they get to your website, they're already warmly engaged and want to know more about what you can do with them. They already know that from everything else you've been sharing. So don't worry about your homepage being filled with that stuff as well.
So I am actually going to have to love you and leave you because I have to go and get children. But I have just seen another question. So, I mean, if you guys have, or one of you has a minute to stay on and Chris can answer that one. And but it has been amazing. Thank you so much for being here today, you guys. Thank you to everyone who has joined us live. And I have to go and get children from school. Otherwise, you know, the school might be phoning us wondering why I haven't collected them.
Yeah, we'll do this one more and we'll leave you that.
Which question? Is it our question or your question?
There's one on Facebook. It's popped up from
Ant. Well, they wouldn't be able to see Ant.
We can see it in StreamYard.
Yeah.
I think it shares.
There we go. Yeah. Literally in the process of rebuilding the entire website, so the sessions will be invaluable, sort of know what I want to include, but the proper organisation that content is crucial. Well, and Anthony is a Digital Circus member, one of our membership group. Chris and Jude are coming along to the Digital Circus. It's next week, isn't it? You're coming along next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're doing.
Don't put Chris on the spot like that.
Did you not know your diary?
I just say yes.
You're talking all about website flow and how that organisational structure is important, isn't it? So do you want to explain a bit more?
Yeah, so we have a sort of a perfectly planned website challenge, which is turned into a course. We've also got a website blueprint that kind of explains how content works and how it flows, talks about site maps, talks about page layout, talks about tone of voice and imagery and everything really that sort of surrounds a website as well. So that should hopefully help you, Anthony. And the sessions that we're doing the next few weeks as well should hopefully cement some of these things for you as well.
Brilliant.
So, Anne, get your website built. You've been, what's the polite phrase?
Procrastinating.
Well, he's been busy. We know he's been busy. Get your website built, Anne. Cool. Right. So we actually need to do the school run as well, don't we? So
first world issues, right?
We are going to have to say thank you and everything else. So, yeah.
Should we look to Instagram? Say goodbye to Instagram first.
All right. Thanks, Instagram. Bye, Instagram. All right, Chris. Take it easy. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.